Hi everybody, Matt Birney or Mike Beer taking a look at the Wednesday Formulator race of the day. Race number 4, Penn National, post time 7:22 Eastern. Let's take a look at this field. We'll go along in post position order. Head over to the race of the day page on drf.com. You can get your free Formulator past performances, handicap along with us. Also worth noting, the 4, Sip of Vindy, is a main track only. Right in post position order. The number 1, Fort Riley, goes out for connections that 0 for 23 in 2017. On paper, the horse looks a little bit slow, and the 1 for 22 overall record does nothing for me.
Yeah, I guess the real problem is that the 1 for 22, and he just has no speed at all. So you just sort of, I guess if you like him, you're hoping that there's a big meltdown here. He can come running late. The figure for his last race suggests that he fits in here, but I kind of want to see him run that again.
I also don't think there's a ton of pace signed on in this race, so I think he's going to be a little bit compromised by that. The 2 is Wildcat Cartridge. This is a horse most recently pretty impressive, all things considered. First time blinkers on against Lesser. That was a group of non-winners of 3 lifetime. But this horse, 7 for 10 lifetime in the money. And he's coming off of a pretty strong effort. Yeah,
he did run well last time. You know, it's funny, his dirt form had improved before they switched him over to turf for his last 2 starts. They dropped him in class for the turf, but I thought he ran well in the Laurel race. You know, they took him all the way back to last in that race, and I don't know what was going on in the stretch. Either you couldn't get a head-on replay of it, but either somebody bared out in front of him in the stretch of that race, and he looked like he sort of steadied a little bit, or else he just pulled himself up. Something went wrong in that race, but I thought he ran better than it looks. And last time, yes, he got a perfect trip, but he also won that race for fun. And you know, that rider, I don't know what he was doing. He could have just went around those horses in the stretch, and he stayed in, and you know, got lucky and got through between horses. But this horse went easy last time.
And he's also got a little bit of speed, a little bit of tactical speed anyway. I'm not suggesting he's going to be forward, but he shouldn't be that far out of it again in a race that doesn't seem to have a ton of early gas. One of the horses that figures to show some early speed is the 3 Papal Law. I have to be honest, only victory thus far in his career, gate to wire fashion. You've got to assume they have one way to go. I'm just concerned. I know that was over yielding ground last time, and you got an opening fraction sub 23. You've got a stretch out sprinter coming into this spot. I don't know if he's going to be able to outfoot him.
Yeah, I worry about that with him too, because it does feel like the only way that he can win. And listen, he's not impossible in this race. He goes for very low percentage connections, but he's not impossible in here. But that stretch out sprinter feels like it really hurts him.
It also doesn't help that the stretch out sprinter, if this race stays on the turf, is the number 5 and will be drawn just to his outside. So you have to assume that they're going to go. The 5 is smart and tough. This is a horse, another one, 3 victories thus far in his career, all of them in gate to wire fashion, and now we're stretching out from dirt to turf. We have a formulator fact for the connections here. This is a horse, again, we made mention, his only victories have come out right on the lead, but boy, past 5 years, dirt to turf, not a positive move for the connections. 1 for 19, only one of them hit the board. Sub 50-cent ROI. I suppose to me it's similar to the way you laid it out with the 3. I don't think this horse is completely without a chance if they let him go, but I don't love him.
It's hard to just think. You know, we'll see what happens with the other speed in this race. I mean, if they just let him go, I guess he could win. He was one. If you told me I could have one of the horses who's going to be up front, I think I would actually rather have the 3 than this horse, but not that this horse can't win.
The 6 is Hello Abraxan. This is a horse I actually thought about for a little bit picking, just simply because I understand we've got a long layoff, but when we last saw this horse, albeit over synthetic surface, it faced much better horses. You had the winner came out and next out with a 75 buyer. The 4th place finished that day, earned a 91 in his next start. And again, a little bit of tactical speed I think goes a long way. The concern is we haven't seen this one since September last year.
Yeah, an 8-year-old now off the layoff. But, you know, if you just go back through his PPs, he won off of a layoff like this last year. 2 of the last 3 years when they brought him back off the layoff, he's run really well. So he does seem like he fires fresh. You know, the trainer doesn't have that many horses. She's an interesting thing to look up in Formulator. Only 36 starters over the past 5 years, 3 wins, all of them with this horse. This horse has won, you know, most of the starts that she's made is with this horse. It's almost like it's the only horse that she has. But she does really well with him. He runs his race every time, and he's good off the layoff.
And even, again, you know, we talked about the most recent race being in September, but 2 back. I mean, you got names like Wyeth and Total Joint. They may not be superstars, but they're much better than the horses that this horse will be facing here in this spot Wednesday night. The 7 is Gray Gator, another horse going from dirt to turf. You've got to assume that this one is going to show a little bit of early speed. I don't know that this has enough to really run early on, but some tactical speed goes a long way. I just am not enamored with anything this horse has done on the turf.
Yeah, I don't like his turf race either. I just think he's a better dirt horse. Not that he doesn't fit in this field. He probably fits in this field. I like him better as a dirt horse.
I'm going to be very, very surprised if the 8 downhill racer actually goes off with the 4-1 morning line. I think a lot of that has to do with Jonathan Shepard.
Right.
Now, having said that, Shepard's numbers aren't particularly strong going dirt to turf and second off the bench, but I suppose if you're looking for the horse that is just completely unexposed, this is it.
Yeah, a 3-year-old who's only run 3 times and is running against a bunch of horses you kind of already know what they are. If anybody steps forward, it's this horse, but if I was going to make a case for him, I would just want him to, be really bred for turf. I want to think, what, they waited, now they're switching to turf, this is what he really wants, and they're stretching him out. There's no turf pedigree at all with this horse, and it just sort of feels like they're taking a shot with a horse in this race on a different surface.
And if you're a numbers person, past 5 years dirt to turf, second off the layoff, 1 for 31 for Jonathan Shepard, 29-cent ROI. We have another formulator fact for the number 9. That is Wicked Heat. This horse goes out for high-profile connections, and you look at the numbers here. Past 5 years, turf, second off the bench, route races, 3 for 5 with a 12.23 ROI. Worth noting, the reason the ROI is as inflated as it is, you had a 22-1 winner in that spot. So clearly the number will be a little bit inflated, but you also had a 9-2 shot that won. Most recent start, I'm curious what your thoughts were down at Delaware. Just kind of even, was hung wide throughout, but I was a little bit disappointed that we didn't get any kick down the lane. Just kind of stayed on.
I agree. I wanted him to, I wanted to see this horse finishing there. I didn't really feel like he was finishing. He was just sort of grinding to the end there. That horse, Primetime Man, that beat him. He's okay, though. I don't know. I thought this horse, in a lot of ways, I wanted to say he was the horse to beat. I almost picked him on top. I didn't. I think he fits really well in this field. I'm a little... His form, recent form, is good. And so I guess they're stepping up at the right time. I wonder if he's just a little cheap.
It's entirely possible because, look, they've kept him in those lower ranks for quite some time, and now maybe this is a little bit of an aggressive move up. And again, I'm with you. I wanted to see some finish at the end. That was a little bit disappointing. The 10, D'Avagnon, does that sound good enough to you?
Fair enough.
We'll go with the number 10 here. Michael Dickinson, we haven't seen this horse since November of 2016, and when we did see that horse, I don't think the running line is probably going to make it look a little bit worse, in my opinion, than it really was. The horse was making a little bit of a move and just kind of had to wait in behind horses. The bigger concern now is we haven't seen you in quite some time. Your overall record, you're 1 for 11, and you like to settle for minor awards. But I can understand someone that says maybe he's the right one. He's never been in this level before.
Yeah, he feels like he's the one. Everybody else has already raced cheap, and he hasn't before. So he's at that 1X level where everybody else feels like they're stepping up. But I mean, he could be the favorite in here. I mean, why would you want to bet him as the favorite? He has 1 win since they got over here. That was in a 5-furlong turf race, and it's almost 2 years ago now. And there's been more layoffs since then. His 2 races last year were fine, but they're no great shakes. I don't know. Maybe he'll win, but I wouldn't take 3-1 on him.
He's another one to consider, especially from a pace standpoint, where it doesn't look like there's a lot. He's going to be coming from the back of the pack. Let's take a look and see who we like here in the Wednesday Formulator race today. Mike, you're going to go with Wild Cartridge. This is a horse that most recent race really was impressive. Maybe against lesser, but boy, we're not dealing with any superstars here.
Yeah, it's the thing. He's stepping up into the 1X again here, but it's not a super tough one. I like both of his races since they switched him over to turf, and his trainer wins a lot of races. I think there are things to like about this horse. What I don't like is that they made him the morning line favorite, and I probably wouldn't bet him if he was the favorite in this race, but if he drifts off that morning line, I'll bet him.
I was going to say, I have a sneaky feeling, no disrespect to the morning line maker, I think it's going to change a little bit. I think the outside runner takes some more money and likely goes off as the favorite in here for Dickinson. I went with the 9 Wicked Heat. All the reasons that you had laid out that you were a little bit interested, that's the same reason I am. So. I'll admit, though, I was disappointed. I expected a little bit more of a finish, and I'm just hopeful that was nothing more than needing one off the layoff, and now we're going to be a little bit tighter this time around. For the Wednesday Formulator race of the day, again, you can get the free pass performances over on the DRF Race of the Day page if you're playing at home. Check out DRF Bets, all sorts of good deals for you. Here we are, drfbets.com/VIP start with up to a $300 bonus for new subscribers. Again, race number 4, Penn National, the Wednesday Formulator race of the day. Scheduled post time is 7:22 Eastern. Best of luck.